Textbook of Pathology, Harsh Mohan. Pathology Quick Review and MCQ. First chapter, Introduction to. Here is 11th chapter and about hematology. How many chapter? 29. General pathology record হইতেছে ইউটিউবে যাবে. General pathology and basic techniques. Introduction to pathology. Study of disease. Definition of pathology. The word pathology is derived from two Greek words, pathos meaning suffering, logos meaning study. Pathology is the scientific study of structure and function of the body in disease. And in other words, pathology consists of the abnormalities that occur in normal anatomy, including histology, physiology, owing to disease. Another commonly used term with reference to study disease pathophysiology, comprised by two words, patho and suffering. Patho meaning suffering, physiology study of the normal function. Pathophysiology thus includes study of disorder, function or breakdown of homeostasis in disease. Pathologists are the diagnostician of disease. Therefore, knowledge and understanding of pathology is essential for all would-be doctor, general medical practitioner, specialist, since unless they know the cause, mechanism, nature, type of disease, and understand the language spoken by the pathologist in the form of laboratory reports, they would not be able to institute appropriate treatment or suggest preventive measure to the patient. For the student of any system of medicine, the discipline of pathology forms a vital bridge between initial learning phase of preclinical science and the final phase of clinical subjects. Remember the prophetic words of one of eminent founders of modern medicine in late 19th and early 20th century, Sir William Osler. Your practice of medicine will be as good as understanding of pathology. Health and disease. Before there were humans on earth, there was disease, albeit in early animals. Since pathology is the study of disease, then what is disease? In simple language, disease is opposite of health. What is not healthy is disease. Health may be defined as a condition when the individual is in complete accord with the surroundings, while disease is loss of age or comfort to the body. Disease, however, it must be borne in mind that in health there is a wide range of normality in height, weight, blood and tissue, chemical composition, etc. It also needs to be appreciated that at cellular level the cell display wide range of activities within the broad area of health. Similar to what is seen is disease in disease cells. Thus, health and disease are not absolute but are considered as relative states. A term commonly confused with disease is illness. While disease suggests an entity with a cause, illness is the reaction of the individual to disease, is the form of symptom complaints of the patient, physical sign elicited by the clinician. Though disease and illness are not separable, the study of disease is done in pathology while the learning and management of illness is done in wards and clinics. In addition to disease and illness, there are syndromes, meaning running together, characterized by combination of symptoms caused by altered physiologic process. Terminology in pathology. It is important for a beginner in pathology to be familiar with the language used in pathology. Patient is the person affected by disease. Lesions are the characteristic change in tissue and cells produced by disease in an individual or experimental animal. Pathologic changes morphology consist of examination of disease tissues. Pathologic changes can be recognized with the naked eye. Gross macroscopic changes are studied with microscopic examination of tissues. Causal factors responsible for the lesions are included in etiology of disease, why of disease, mechanism by which the lesions are produced is termed pathogenesis of disease, how or disease. Functional implication of the lesion felt by the patient are symptoms. Those discovered by the clinician are the physical sign. Clinical significance of the morphologic and functional changes together with results of other investigation help to arrive at an answer to what is wrong, diagnosis, what is going to happen, prognosis, what can be done about it, treatment. And finally, what should be done to avoid complications, spread, prevention, what of disease. Evolution of pathology. Pathology as the scientific study of disease process has its deep roots in medical history. Since the beginning of mankind, there has been desire as well as need to know more about the causes, mechanism, nature of disease. The answer to the question have evolved over the centuries, from supernatural beliefs to the present state of our knowledge of modern pathology. However, pathology is not separable from other multiple disciplines of medicine and owes its development to interaction and interdependence on advances in diverse neighboring branches of scientific science. In addition to the strides made in medical technology, as we shall see in the pages that follow, pathology has evolved over the year as a distinct discipline from anatomy, medicine, surgery. In that sequence, the brief review of fascinating history of pathology and its many magnificent personalities. With their outstanding contribution in the opening pages of the book is meant to pay our ovations to those great personalities who have laid glorious foundation of our specialty. Life and works of those whose names are mentioned below are linked to some disease of process. The aim being to stimulate the inquisitive beginner in pathology as to how this colorful specialty has emerged. From religious belief and magic to rational approach, prehistoric time to add 1500, present-day knowledge of primitive culture prevalent in the world in prehistoric times reveals that religion, magic, medical treatment were quite linked to each other in those times. The earliest concept of disease understood by the patient and the healer was the religious belief that disease was the outcome of curse from God. Truth. Curse from God, or the belief in magic that the affliction had supernatural origin from evil eye of spirit to ward them off. Priests through prayers and sacrifice, and magicians by magic power used to act as faith healer and invoke supernatural power and please the gods. Remnants of the ancient superstition still exist in some parts of the world. The link between medicine and religion became so firmly established throughout the world that different societies had their gods and goddesses of healing. For example, mythological Greeks had Asclepios and Apollo as the principal gods of healing, Dhanvantri as the deity of medicine in India, and Orthodox Indians believed in Mata Shitala Devi as the pox goddess. What? For example, mythological Greeks had Asclepios and Apollo. Oh, that's why Apollo Hospital as the principal gods of healing. Dhanvantri as the deity of medicine in India, and Orthodox Indian belief in Mata Shitala Devi as the pox goddess. The period of ancient religious and magical beliefs was followed by the philosophical and rational approach to disease by the methods of observation. This happened at the time when Greek philosopher Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle introduced philosophical concepts to all natural phenomena. But the real practice of medicine began with Hippocrates 460-370 to 370 BC, the great Greek clinical genius of all times and regarded as the father of medicine. Hippocrates followed rational and ethical attitudes in practice and teaching of medicine as expressed in the collection of writings of that era. He firmly believed in study of patient symptoms and described methods of diagnosis. The prevailing concept of mechanism of disease based on this equilibrium of four basic humors, water, air, fire, earth, was propagated by Hippocrates too. He recorded his observation on case in writing, which remained the mainstay of medicine for nearly who is he? Hippocrates 460 700 to 370 BC, great Greek clinician genius and regarded as the father of medicine. He introduced ethical aspects of what? To medicine. Hippocrates. High Hippocrate. 2000 years Hippocratic aphorism. Some of the major Hippocratic methods can be summarized as under: observe all, objectively study the patient rather than the disease, evaluate honestly as is nature. Hippocrates introduced ethical concept in the practice of medicine and is revered by the medical profession by taking Hippocratic oath at the time of entry into practice of medicine. Greek medicine. After Hippocrates reached Rome, now Italy, which controlled Greek world after 146 BC, therefore dominated the field of development of medicine in ancient Europe. Then, in fact, since ancient times, many tongue-twisting terminologies in medicine have their origin from Latin language, which was the official language of countries included in ancient Roman Empire. Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, French, Greek languages have their origin from Latin. Hippocrates was propagated in Rome by Roman physicians, notably by Cornelius Celsus, 53 BC, 7 AD, and Claudius Galen, 130-200 AD. Celsus first described four cardinal signs of inflammation: rubor, redness, tumor, swelling, calor, heat, dolor, pain. Galen postulated humoral theory, later called Galenic theory. This theory suggested that the illness resulted from imbalance between four humors or body fluids: blood, lymph, black bile, believed to be formed from the spleen, and biliary secretion from the liver. The hypothesis of this equilibrium of four elements constituting the body, dhatus, similar to Hippocratic doctrine, finds mention in ancient Indian medicine books compiled about 200 AD. Charaka Samhita, a finest document by Charaka on medicine, listing 500 remedies. Sushruta Samhita, similar book of surgical science by Sushruta, and includes about 700 plant-derived medicine. The end of medieval period was marked by background steps in medicine. There were widespread and devastating epidemics which reversed the process of rational thinking again to supernatural concepts and divine punishment for sins. The dominant belief during this period was that life was due to influence of vital substance under the control of soul, theory of vitalism. Thus, the dissection of human body was secretly forbidden, as that would mean hurting the soul. From human anatomy to era of gross face pathology, the backwardness of medieval period was followed by the Renaissance period, i.e. revival of learning. Renaissance began from Italy in late 15th century. and spread to whole of Europe. During this period, there was quest for advances in art and science. Since there was freedom of thought, there was emphasis of philosophical and rational attitudes again. The beginning of the development of human body took place during this period with the artworks, drawings of human muscles, embryos by famous Italian painters Leonardo da Vinci, 1450 to 1519. Dissection of human body was started by Vesalius, 1514 to 1564, on executed criminals. His pupils Gabriel Fallopius, 1523-1562, who described human oviducts, fallopian tube, and Fabricius, who discovered lymphoid tissue around the intestine of bird. Brusa of Fabricius further popularized the practice of human anatomic dissection, for which special postmortem amphitheatres came into existence in various parts of ancient Europe. Anatomy van Leeuwenhoek, 1632 to 1723, a cloth merchant by profession in Holland, during his spare time invented the first ever microscopic by grinding the lenses himself, through which he recognized male spermatozoa as tiny preformed man or homunculi blood corpuscles and blood corpuscles. He also introduced histological staining in 1714 using saffron to examine muscle fibers. 16th century postmortem amphitheater in Europe was a place of learning human anatomic dissection, conducted and demonstrated by Professor to eager learner and spectators.